Hey everyone, what's up? What's up? Okay, welcome to the Live Fearlessly vlog series. I am super blessed and excited to be sharing my friend and my amazing sister here. Okay, Janice Skidmore is in New Mexico and we've met in person. She was in Wisconsin. She's actually the person that helped me start this channel and pushed or drew me out to say, girl, you got to do this.
Drag.
Stop it. No, yeah, she kind of did. She kind of dragged me. Not kicking and screaming, but she was very, very graciously just saying, we need this. We need you to get people to share their stories and talk about fear. So you guys, this woman literally has inspired me to like do this. So I'm like very honored that she's coming to share her story with us today. So Janice, I want you to share something interesting about you that you want the viewers to know. And if you want to expand on where you're located, because I didn't really say much. Are you in Albuquerque?
No, I'm not. I'm outside of Santa Fe.
Okay. Yeah, so what's an interesting fact that you want us to know about you?
The interesting fact about me is that I'm petrified of animals most of the time, except for dogs and cats.
Except for dogs and cats, because she has dogs.
Yes.
Like cows and like any other animals?
Yeah, so I grew up in New York and I was not exposed to animals as a kid. And so when I moved to Wisconsin, it was pretty funny to watch me be around animals because the first time I touched a cow, I nearly had a nervous breakdown. I thought it was going to bite me.
They'll lick you, I think. I guess I haven't been around too many cows either, even though I grew up in Wisconsin. So that would be a foreign thing. Growing up in New York City, I can see why that would be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I felt safer on a subway at 3 a.m. than I would in a farm. And so I learned, you have to learn.
That is so funny. I literally just had like a flash of, I don't even think I ever watched a full episode, but that Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie show that they like went out and did like the farm work and all of that, and they had no idea. That's what I just pictured, you being safer on a subway.
It was like that. I was, dressed, I had my earrings on and my little heels, and I'd walk into a barn and I'm like, oh.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And then I touched the cow, I was shaking. I was like, and I touched her, and she was so smooth and soft and warm, and I was like, oh, okay. And I pet her a couple times. I said, okay, I'm done. Get me back out of here.
I'm not gonna milk this thing, but I'll touch it.
No, didn't do that. No.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I love it. So to give you guys a little bit more like insight too about Janice and I's like friendship and partnership and like collaborations that we've done, like literally she's done the graphics of my video podcast. She's helped me with like formulating the verbiage on things for my podcast. Like all of the start of this was her and I working closely and her helping me with my brand. So a lot of what you see is because of this woman right here. So when I tell you like I'm all giddy, like that's the truth. I probably should not have wore red to match my glowy face for this, but I'm super excited. So Janice, thank you so much for taking the time to come and share. And I know it's not your forte necessarily, but you have a powerful message to share with people. And it's really insightful and helpful and beneficial for women to hear. So we're going to dive in. And of course, we're talking about fear and a significant time in your life when fear held you back from living your life fully, and really like how that life experience has helped shape who you are today, the leader that you are today. So when you're asked that question, Janice, like where do you go for yourself? What's your experience?
I have to go with my most recent experience because I believe we've all had fear hold us back at some point or other, such as the first time I touched a cow. Years ago, before I moved to Wisconsin, I wouldn't have dreamed of touching a cow, And I know that's a silly example, but we have different levels of fear and different concepts of fear and different things that hold us back. And so I wanted to talk today about 2020 being a really bad year for me in some ways, and also a beautiful year for me in a lot of ways. And one of the things that people who know me know that I have PTSD. I served in the military and I have some PTSD. And one of the things that I fear is being touched, like going to a doctor and being touched, but I'm not expecting and stuff, because they don't understand and they're just doing their job. And I woke up in the middle of the night last January in extreme pain in my lower abdomen. And I didn't want to go to the doctor because I thought, I'll wait, I'll see if it subsides. And I didn't want to go to the doctor because I was kind of afraid of going to the doctor, because I knew immediately that this pain was not normal. It was not something to ignore, but I was fearful. I was fearful of going to the doctor. The diagnosis I got was not even in my radar. I was just fearful of just being in the hospital and being around doctors and COVID just breaking out and that fear. And so,
so that was this January. That was January 2020.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this January. Yep. So I held off until February. And February I was outside doing some yard work, some pretty heavy yard work. I was lifting rocks into a wheelbarrow and hauling the wheelbarrow quite a bit of ways. And I bent down and I had more pain. And sometimes we get a little voice in our head that says, hey, girl, we need to talk.
Something is up.
Yeah, you need to go to the doctors now. And I'm kind of like talking to myself going, but it's Saturday and the doctor's not open, and my little voice in me said, go anyway. And so I drove myself. I kind of live in the boonies right now, kind of I'm 30 minutes away from either city. And so I
This
drove.
was a woman from New York City, people.
True story. I now live on a dirt road. I never thought I'd see the day. So I drove myself to the ER, and I was expecting the doc to say something like, it's a gallbladder attack, something like that.
Yeah, because you're celiac, right?
I have celiac disease, yeah. So I thought it was something I ate. I thought that I came in contact with gluten in some way, or I thought it was my nerves. A lot of things that you think, going through your mind, and especially when you fear going to doctors. It's not that I'm afraid of doctors. I just don't like to be there because I don't like to be restricted, part of my PTSD. And so I went to the doctor and they started asking me weird questions. Like, do you have pain in your lower back? And I looked at the doctor and I said, well, I was just hauling rocks,
right.
from the shovel and a wheelbarrow. So I might have some lower back pain, but, and then you think maybe I wore the wrong shoes. And so they were asking me some weird questions and they sent me in for an x-ray. And I remember saying to the x-ray technician, as I was laying down, I was having some pain. And I said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but it feels like there's something in me that shouldn't be. And well, the next thing I know, they send me back to my room and the doc comes in and he says, we found a very large mass in what used to be your left ovary and it could be cancer. And I was like, what? Wait, what? Me? What?
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of my career and I'm in the middle of, building my business and I'm in the middle of life and that this can't be right. And so I told myself it wasn't right. And then in April, I had to have surgery to remove it because it was very, very painful at that point. Extremely painful.
So I want to just point out that you said, I want to pull this through for the viewers here, right? She went from saying she followed her intuition that she needed to go get it checked out, that she knew something wasn't right. And then she went and she then proceeded to tell the nurse that, like, I know it sounds weird, but there's something in me that was not supposed to be there. And then when you get the answer and you're told, yeah, you're right, there's something that's not right and it shouldn't be there. And then the fear sets in, and then you're saying that you resorted back to, nope, that wasn't it. That can't be true, even though you were the one that knew it and followed your intuition about it. So I just want to point that out, that like this is the process that we go through with fear, right? we think about it one way, and then we question it and we push it away, and we go through that struggle back and forth. And like, I just want to point this process out, because this is what we all go through on different levels, as we're talking about. So, okay. So where were you mentally at this point? Like, how did you feel about yourself when you were like coming to terms with like the truth?
Well, first of all, a point that, as you said, the fear and the disowning of the fear, just the disowning of the truth, is one of the reasons why women in my situation get diagnosed so late. But I'll talk about that later. So at that point, when I was laying there or sitting, I was standing actually. I was uncomfortable. I was in pain. I was standing, and the doc was saying, you have to follow through with this. This is something that could be very serious. You need to follow through. And in my mind, I just thought, well, I'm just gonna have surgery. They'll take it out and I'll be good to go. So that's what I was running through my mind. And I just wanted to get better. I just wanted to get back to work and, do my thing. So I had to wait till April to have surgery. Where I live is a kind of a sparse area in New Mexico. There's not a lot of doctors, not a lot of hospitals, so sometimes you have to wait. And then you add COVID into that, and it was really, I had to wait till April to get that very painful mass removed. And the surgical oncologist said that she said, it doesn't look like cancer, but we won't know until surgery. We'll know in surgery if it's cancer or not, and you'll know when you wake up by the size of the incision, basically. And so I woke up and I looked down at my belly and I saw the length of the incision, and I thought, oh. And at that point, a little while later, the doctor came in and she was so apologetic. I'm so sorry I can't come near you. I'm so sorry I got my mask and my shield on. She had to stand very far away from me. And that's when I knew, when she was apologizing for that, that's when I knew came back positive for cancer. And she said, we did find cancer. You're going to have chemotherapy. And at that point, I got mad. I wasn't mad that I had the disease. I was flipping, fuming that not one doctor in all the years I had been alive ever spoke to me about ovarian cancer. Not one. I just had an all-clear OB visit in December of 2019. 100% clear OB. I was expressing some symptoms that I didn't know were related to ovarian cancer. And the doc said, well, everything's looking good, so see ya. So I don't blame her at all. And I blame the fact that the medical community is not speaking to us about ovarian cancer. The signs, symptoms, and risks are the signs are very subtle. And as we just talked about, that fear of, I don't want to miss work. I don't want to let a client down. I don't want to have my kids be worried. I don't want to worry my friends, these other things. So we kind of look at those symptoms we might be having and pass them off. Something I ate, wore the wrong shoes, was too active today. All these things but also the biggest thing, more so than fear in this case, was the lack of information. The total lack of information that any doctor had ever given me. Had I known about the signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer, I would have much earlier said, hey, doc, we need to talk. I think I'm having these symptoms. My symptoms seem similar to what that is. So because I was so angry over this, I knew immediately when I got out of the hospital, I was going to go to action about it. And
no way.
And so I contacted the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition and I said, I want to make change. I'm a warrior. Put me to war. Send me on the front lines. Tell me what to do. And so
there's that Marine.
Yeah. So little did I know how much, how sick chemotherapy would make me. That had to be delayed a little bit, but now I'm back in the game and back to working it out. And so I want to talk about the fear of being diagnosed, what that could mean, and the fear of what your family's going to think and feel, the fear of telling them, the fear of their reaction. And then the other thing is other people's fear about cancer. When you tell them that you've got the diagnosis, some of them disappear. And it's a fear because they're looking at me and say, you're so healthy, you run all the time and you eat right and you you, whatever, you're so healthy. And then that fear can play into them as well. So real quick, before you ask me questions, I want to talk about the signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer. So they could be where you have bloating in your abdomen. I began to kind of look like I was pregnant. I just kind of bloated out. And I blamed, as women do, well, I'm working so much, I'm sitting too much, I need more exercise, I got to stop eating this or whatever.
Excuses, yeah.
Yes. So bloating, too frequent need for urination. I have to tell you that anytime someone has to urinate too much, that is something wrong. Don't ignore it. It could be any number of things, but don't ignore it. Pain when urinating, discomfort when urinating before or after, lower back pain, feeling too full too quickly, and having acid reflux. The other thing could be painful intercourse, or bleeding irregularly or bleeding after intercourse. So some of those symptoms, people say, well, how can you not know that you had this mass growing? I have to tell you, it is so subtle, so very subtle, where, oh, the other thing you'll probably have is digestive issues. You'll have frequent diarrhea. And I blame that on celiac disease, where I come in contact with gluten somewhere or something. So digestive issues are a huge part of that. So as you can see, you can pass it off. I'm a little bloated. I have a little back pain. You can just pass it off, but don't. But don't. And so that's why I'm raising my voice to spread the message, because the thing about ovarian cancer is that it's not age related. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Mm-hmm.
Just yesterday, because my hair is looking a little crazy because it's finally grown in from chemo, and I can't get it cut because of COVID. So it's kind of crazy. So I put my hat on. So
Grow, baby, grow.
Right. So yesterday it was very windy. I didn't have a hat on, and I saw this woman and I started talking. Me, I talk to everybody. And she was looking at my hair. I said, I know it's growing in from chemo. It looks a little funny right now. She said, oh, you had cancer. And I said, yeah. She said, what type? And I said, ovarian cancer. And she said, I don't have to worry about that. I said, oh yeah, why is that? She said, I'm 10 years post-menopause, so I have nothing to worry about. That is not true. It is not true. So long as you have a uterus and ovaries and all the parts, you can get ovarian cancer regardless of age. It doesn't matter if you're 2 or 102. Doesn't matter. It can be genetic, as in my case, or not. It doesn't matter. So I want to spread the word so moms know for their daughters, best friends know for their best friends, sisters know for sisters, aunts know for nieces, husbands know for wives. We all have to pay attention.
Yeah. So what would the advice be that you would give the viewers, if they're like, oh, I don't know, maybe I should, well, one, right, like go get a exam, right? But also, like, what questions would you advise the viewers to take action on from here?
Yes, so pick me, that's what I was saying. So don't be afraid. Okay, so as women, oftentimes we're in the doctor's office and we're afraid to maybe tell a doctor, I'm having these weird symptoms. We're afraid that we'll sound crazy. We're afraid that we'll sound like we're complaining. We're afraid that we'll sound like we're making a big deal out of nothing. So we don't say anything. So my biggest thing right now, when we're talking about fear, is put that fear down and speak up for yourself. And if the doctor tries to placate you, as in my case, I was actually having symptoms for a couple of years ago already. And when I went to my doctor, the other symptom is extreme fatigue. That is another huge symptom. So I went to my doctor and I was saying, I am so, so tired. I can't get out of my own way. I'm so tired. And the thing I got was, you're getting older. It's perimenopause. These things happen. Don't take that for an answer. Use your voice. Don't be afraid to use your voice. Go to the doctor with a written list of questions if you need to. Make sure they follow up, because if you say to them, I've been doing some research, I learned some signs and symptoms of ovarian cancer, I think I might have those. They might say, well, does anyone in your family have cancer? And if you say no, then they might say, well, then don't worry. They might. Don't be afraid. Speak up and fight for the test, because the thing about ovarian cancer is it does not show up in pap smears. There's no early detection method for ovarian cancer. In my case, the mass was so embedded toward my back that my OB doc in December didn't feel the mass for the external exam.
Mm.
So it can be tricky and sneaky. So stand your ground. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to demand the health care that you deserve. If you tell them, I want to be tested for potential ovarian cancer, fight for it with everything you got. Don't let them placate you or dismiss you. So
Yes.
that's one of the things I wanted to say. And then also, don't be afraid of the what if. What if I do? What if I do? The key here is early detection. It's just like colon cancer. The sooner you know, the 3,000% better.
Yep. Be brave. Be brave, people.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So there's two other things that I want to know and that I would love for you to share with the viewers. Like you mentioned a little bit about, relationships with people and that kind of thing. So some people leave and that kind of thing. So how did this experience that, you're still moving through right now, how has personal connections shifted for you, or have they, positive or negatively?
Okay, so in for me, I'm a very spiritual person in a lot of ways. So for me, I reflect upon myself, and identity for me is what my identity is and what my perception is versus someone else's. So I've had whenever you get a diagnosis like cancer, people say things like, "Oh, my cousin Joe had cancer and he died in 2 days." You're like, "Oh, thanks for sharing." So people don't mean harm, but these things they say. And so I had to reflect upon myself and what my reaction response would be. So if someone needed space, if I was too much of a reminder of them of this could be me, and they don't want to look at me, I just let them have their space. I'm still going to continue speaking about this to reach the females that need to hear this. But yeah, I just give them space. If some people get angry because they love you and they don't want you to be sick, and they get angry about it, and they might become confrontational. And again, I just reflect back on me and realize that I don't own their emotions. The only thing I own is my response to their emotions. And my response right now had to be to get myself better so that I could preach this message. Not preach, but share it. So did I answer that question?
Yes. Yeah. And then so I'm very much, you know me, I'm a very much like a vision person. Like I always look to the future and to stay future focused while still being in the present moment. So especially right now, this is very interesting to ask, but 5 years from today, where do you see yourself and sharing this message, or helping other people? Like, what does that hold for you? 5 years, so 2025, what's going to happen between now and then, do you see for yourself? What's your vision?
In 2025, I'm going to be up in front of, with the president, whoever the president is at the time, signing a declaration that all OB doctors and regular physicians speak to female patients of any age about the signs, symptoms, and risks associated with ovarian cancer. That's where I see myself, is really being a huge advocate while I'm still here and helping us to do it. Because I don't want anybody to be caught in stages 3 and 4, because their doctor didn't listen to them or didn't hear them, or the fear of the patient coming forth was too strong. So that's where I want to see myself in 5 years from now. And I've already started. I've been in touch with my state senator and my state governor, and I've already started the small area, just of this area. I've started a chapter here through the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition. I'm working with them.
Wow.
In a volunteer aspect at this point, where I'm volunteering to start a support group here in New Mexico for any females diagnosed and their caretakers. Because I witnessed some moms with 2-year-olds who have been diagnosed, and those moms need a lot of support and love. And so I've already started that, and that's all virtual meetings. And for any women out there, or I should say females out there of any age, if you're looking for support, if you've been diagnosed, you're looking for support, contact the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition, and they'll help you find a group near you where you can get online support from, and it's peer-to-peer. It's fellow women who, or I shouldn't say women, females of all ages who have this diagnosis and can communicate to each other and offer advice.
That's awesome. I was not aware that you started that there. That's amazing. And I'm just like goosebumps hearing your vision of how much impact that you really are striving for and that you see for yourself. That like, that's incredible. And wow, so very needed. So I'm throwing up my heart and I'm saying, do the damn thing. And I love it. And it's so funny because literally I was giving you crap earlier about you saying like, oh, I left the doctor's office and I was like taking action. And then it's like, oh no. And then I'm taking action on this. Like, that's why I was joking. And I was like, her? No way. That's not a thing that she would do.
Yeah.
The total action taker.
Yes, for anyone who knows me personally, I'm usually, like you alluded to earlier, I'm a behind the scenes person. I work for someone else's brand and I make things happen for them. That's usually my thing. I'm usually behind the scenes pushing them up, saying, you can do this, you got this, go do this. So this is different for me to step up and say, you know, this is the spotlight. It's not about me, it's about all females, but to stand up and be in that spotlight is not my comfort zone. So I'm overcoming that fear as well. You know, to be on Zooms and recordings and interviews and be on TV. I've been on TV before, but this time it'll be, I don't really care, you know, about much of anything except getting my message across. Where the first thing we do that we know we're going to be recorded. How do I look? I'm not even going to care.
Closed.
I'm not even going to care.
That was a real conversation. But I mean, it's true, right? And then there is a certain element to that too, because people tune out and whatever. So there's always an element for that. But I think it's so true. And, you know, that is kind of a catch-22 of COVID is that, you know, so many things are virtual. We can get our messages out faster and out further and to the people and, you know, reach out and find those connections in a strong way, making sure that we're using our powers for all good. So that's amazing. I love it. I love it. So Janice, wrapping this up, where is the best place for the viewers to connect with you?
You know, I write on my Facebook page is a great place to connect with me. Send me a DM, post to my page, whatever you want. I have Facebook open usually all day long because of my clients. I manage their pages. So it's as I'm working the pages up so I can pay attention. So Facebook is a great place to message me. You can email me. You can call me, whatever you want to do, text me. So I don't know if you're putting that information in with the blog. So
yeah, sure. Yeah. So obviously, right. Like she's here to connect with anyone that, you know, wants to talk further about the topic or learn more, just connect. Like that's what we're talking about here. So Janice, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your heart and your story for, you know, what you're going through, how you've experienced it and how you're going to impact more people to learn the symptoms and the signs and to get ahead of it faster. So I adore you so much. Thank you for your time. And I just love you.
Love you too. Thanks for having me. And anyone, please don't hesitate to reach out. It'll be totally confidential. I will not share your information, but I will answer questions that you have. So please reach out.
Perfect. I love it. Everyone that's watching, love yourself, live fearlessly, and make it a great day. Bye, everyone.